Hello everyone, and welcome to, well, a brief tutorial today. So you'll see I am in my FTB Infinity world. It's still booting up. But what I want to do today in this world is I'm going to introduce you to the basics of the default research mechanic in Thaumcraft. So as you'll see, just as I've shown in my FTB series and my Agrarian Sky series, the researches are all these little highlighted squares. If they're a square, it means that you'll be researching it using the research table. Now, we need to get the research table up and running. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is grab 2 pieces of sand. You can also use, well, actually no, you need to use sand. So I've got to make 3 pieces of glass. I already know I have 1 glass stored up. So I'm going to smelt this up in the furnace downstairs. While we're doing that, I'm going to run through some of the basics of the research mechanic. I'll explain the other types of research, and then we'll keep getting on. Alrighty, redstone furnace, there we go. So, the square ones you have to do at the research table, and we'll get into that a bit later. And then the, let's see here, the circle ones you also have to do at the research table, but they are expansions off of existing square ones. So you won't be able to get these unless you understand their basics. These lines will also tell you the same thing, so I can't research this until I understand these. But I believe the difference is that I also need to research something else in the world to understand this. But with this, as soon as I unlock this, this will become available to unlock as well. I believe that's the key difference. And then let's see if I have any of the other types available as well. Okay, so here. Then we have the hexagon shapes, which are researched simply by clicking on the thing itself. So all I would have to do is have the appropriate number of aspects. You'll see right now I have enough per quintatio. It needs 3, and I have, let's see. You can always check how much of each aspect you have just by going into this page of your Thaumonomicon. So I have 3 per quintatio, and therefore I can use the 3 to unlock. Where were we? Here. To unlock this. However, it needs an undiscovered amount of an undiscovered attribute, so we're not able to do that anytime right now. So I've also scanned a variety of things in my world. However, I still can't understand plants. Yeah, see, for that I need to understand plants, and for plants I need to understand the sources of life. And that is typically going to be the primary part at which people get stuck a lot. So we're going to make our research table in just a moment here. Let's see, I need feathers. I knew I got some there. I only need 1 of you right now. And I'm going to need a piece of ink. And I'm going to need quite a bit of paper, actually. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ink, feather, and bottle. And I believe it's shapeless, so I can put these in any order and still get the scribing tools. There you go. And then all you have to do with your scribing tools is right-click on your research table. Boom, just like so. And then you can remove them, and it stays as a research table. So now I have scribing tools and paper in my inventory. I can start clicking on anything to research it. So let's take something really, really basic first. Let's do research expertise. This will help us. Let's see, it doesn't say, it just says knowledge is power for now. So it says, you have run out of ink, refill your scribing tools. Well, my scribing tools are pretty full right here. You'll see it has durability. Once this reaches 0, it doesn't mean you lose the item, it just means you need to refill it. And I'll show you how to do that later. So you'll see here, it asks us, we're missing 2 aspects. Well, that's a problem. And I could scan stuff, but something tells me if I haven't discovered it already, I probably don't have the ability to discover it right now. So typically there are two aspects that are going to jam you up right off the bat, and can be pretty difficult to get to. Fortunately, you can discover new aspects by simply combining aspects in your research table. So see, if I click water, it goes up here. If I click earth, it goes up here. And I can do that in the reverse order. It's the first one you click goes there, the second one you click goes there. And then all I have to do is click this, and suddenly I've discovered life, Victus. Now you'll see that they did stay there after I had already made the thing, so if you want to discover something new, you're going to have to click to remove them, and then just keep going on your merry way. Now the next thing that's probably going to trip you up is movement. And all you have to do to get that is to combine air and order, and you'll get movement. And that should pretty much free up your ability to scan everything you haven't scanned so far. So for instance, if I go out and scan, if I tried to scan the wood, it said I needed plants first, but when I tried to scan the grass, all it said is I need life. So let's try out grass. And sure enough, we've discovered herba. If I go over to these seeds, herba. If I go over to the raspberry bush, herba. And now, if I scan the wood, arbor. There we go. Makes sense, right? And let's see, can I understand this? No, to understand that I need to understand tools. So from there you can just keep on doing a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see, do I have the necessary aspects for this research? I don't. But I probably have the necessary ones for another one. Hold on. Let me do this just so I can show you guys how this goes. Wand foci. I think I have enough for this. I absolutely do. So now we have Praecantatio and Ignis on this source of paper, and what we need to do to complete this research is we need to go from one to the other and try to discover something they have in common. So, for instance, if you look into your Thaumonomicon, you'll see that Ignis is a primal aspect. It's not comprised of anything. So I can't combine it with any aspects of Ignis. However, I can link it through things that Ignis creates, such as Infernus, which is part Ignis, Lux, which is part Ignis, or right here, sorry. I was highlighting air when I said that. Potentia. And that's quite a few. Just because I know this, I'm going to go Lux here, and you'll see that there's now a line between them. And if this was invalid, Lux would have been grayed out, but now it's all in color, so you know it worked. So if you can't see the line, you'll know it worked simply by the fact that the aspect you put down is colored. Now, if I look at Praecantatio, I could go Infernus here. It's part Praecantatio. Or I could use the components of Praecantatio, which are Vacuo and Potentia. Now Potentia is part Ignis. So I could just go Potentia and then Ignis. And then that would complete my chain. But I think I want to show you guys something a bit trickier, just so you get the idea. So I'm going to go Vacuo here. Now I have Vacuo and Lux. Now, if I look through the amount of aspects I have, you'll see that Tenebrae, the aspect of darkness, is comprised of both Vacuo and Lux. So all I had to do is put down this, and suddenly we have the research aspect for foci. Now, the smarter option for me to have done would have been to use Potentia and then just do Ignis again, because Ignis, Potentia, and Lux are relatively easy to come by aspects in the world. You're likely to find a whole bunch of it just scanning stuff, but Tenebrae is a little rarer. Vacuo is pretty common, but Tenebrae is definitely one of the rarer aspects to come by. Of course, you could just make as many of an aspect you want through the research table just by combining stuff. but you typically want to use stuff you're going to have in abundance. So now I have this finished discovery, wand foci, form meets function. Now that it's in my hotbar, all I have to do is right click, and it says research completed, wand foci, up right here. Nice. So now if I go into my Thaumanomicon, and I go down to Thaumaturgy, you'll see I've unlocked a whole new branch of stuff, as well as I've completed this wand foci part. Now I'll leave this open, you can read it if you like. It just gives you a little bit of background on exactly what it is you've discovered. And then here's the crafting recipe for it, and it's made in the Arcane Workbench, which is this crafting table right here. And you'll see that as you craft it, you're going to need 20 Ignis and 10 Perditio. So that just comes from whatever wand you have up here. So you'll see mine currently has 25 air, or 24 air, 25 terra, 14 aqua, 12 ordo, and 25 Perditio. Now it's just charged like that because I've been running around killing random squids so I can get a bunch of ink. But yes, so you'll see now we still have our research expertise, but we still don't understand the two aspects that are missing. So we could go around and let's see if I can find something new. Oh, hold on. One thing that you can do in this mod pack is you can scan animals. And you'll see there I discovered Bestia and Terra. So now we have an understanding of animals and so on. You can also scan portal structures. I can scan this obsidian. I can scan the very portal itself. And there you go, I discovered Iter. Perfect. Scan the chicken. And there you go, I discovered Volatus, the aspect of flight. I can also scan nodes. This is one I've scanned before. It has Tempestus in it, which was really nice. I didn't have to make that on my own or go to the nether and scan a cloud. Do we have tangible? We do have tangible clouds in this mod pack. And basically what you want to do is you want to scan anything you can think of and then head back to your research table and check on how much of everything you have. Now if you have your Thaumanomicon, you can just scroll through that and see how much you have, but it's a much more organized and neat way to see it here, especially if you're trying to look at something you're working toward. So I discovered the problem with no, I'll address that in my I'll address that in the FTB episode. I have figured out why that's happening. Now let's see. Study man. So that is another thing that's probably gonna jam you up. So let's try to address that, shall we? Yeah, that's a problem. So man is probably gonna stumble you up unless you have access to a village, which I suppose I do, but if you don't, let's... Oh, okay, no. First I need to discover death. So I'm just going to try to help you get a grasp of the progression of the game so that you don't end up too lost in it. I have to study the mind. Really? For this? Bone, maybe? Study death. Okay. Let's see. Just plain old death, huh? What would have just plain old death? Skeleton skull, maybe? No. Yeah. Just death. This one might be a bit of a trip up as well. I know I've done this before. Actually, let's do string next. Oh no, that doesn't work either. I need to understand tools first. Oh, ender pearls. This one we can do. There we go. That gives us alienness, which is, I believe, the highest tier aspect in that branch of aspects. So, let's see. Death, though. What can I use to get death? Creeper head, maybe. Nope. Aspect of death. Alrighty. I can do this. Alright. So I guess death is going to trip us up a little bit. Let's look at getting death done for us. So all we have to do is take life and perditio, combine that, and that gives us death. Or mortuus, as it's referred to. Now let's try the rotten flesh. Need to understand the mind. Right, I forgot that was what that one said. Bones. Okay, because it had corpus. So corpus is the combination of death and bestia. If I go up into you and say corpus, yeah, death and bestia. So when an animal dies, it becomes meat, basically. Now, if I take a gas tier, study weapons. Okay. Where can I move from here? I guess I can go skeleton now. There we go. And that discovers Exonimus, which is the aspect of undeath, and Spiritus, which is the aspect of the spirit. Now that we understand spirits, we can understand the mind. So there we go, Cognitio. So the progression we went was combining Terra and Aqua to make life, then life and Perditio to make death, and then we scanned... let's see, what did we scan? We scanned a skeleton skull to uncover spirit and undeath. And then after we had spirit, all we had to do was scan paper to get mind. And now we need human. So I believe we can take rotten flesh, scan it, and there's the aspect of humanity, humanus. Now, if we look at our research paper, we have the mind, and we're still missing something else. So I believe another thing that builds off of the mind is the ability to perceive. So we have senses. The embodiment of senses, sight, sound, etc. There we go. So now we have the ability to do this. So sensus is comprised of spiritus and air. Simple enough. And then cognitio is spiritus and ignis. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ignis, air, lux, and then ignis and potentia. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, but this is definitely a method of which you can do it. So you'll see I used an aspect that makes up cognitio, an aspect that makes up sensus, and then an aspect comprised of both the resulting aspects, and then break it down, build it up, break it down. And that's basically how research works. So now we've unlocked research expertise, and now it says we've become more efficient at researching. Whenever you remove an aspect that you placed in a hexagon, or in a hex I guess, there's a 25% chance that you will regain the research point. So for example, if I clicked and dragged one of these onto the board and then removed it, I have a 25% chance to get it back. I'm also able to see what aspects you need to combine to create an aspect while I'm hovering over it. So, if I look over Census, I now see that it is air and spiritus. I don't need to have to go in here and look it up again. I can just use the table, which is super handy. Super handy. Alright, so that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you come out with an understanding of Thaumcraft if you're new to it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll probably get into some more advanced stuff soon, so it's probably going to be sooner than later that another tutorial comes out. But I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. I'm saying this outro again. I'm so sorry. I do that so often. That's all for now. Bye.